Appoquinimink School District, otherwise known as Appo. I have some numbers for you, locally sourced by Bright MLS, and I also have my notes on them. If you want this follow-along guide to go along with me throughout this video, here it is. Send it to you free, just let us know where to send it, no problem. Otherwise, let's get into the numbers for Appoquinimink, otherwise Appo. So looking year over year from 2022 into 2023, now sitting in 2024 of June, let's look at how many homes have been listed. In 2022, there were 130. Move forward to the next year, there were 97. And now in this year of 2024, June, we had 105 homes get listed, which is more than any month we had prior, really since 2023. The end of market inventory, or the amount of homes that are available for sale, the supply and demand, was 207 at the end of the month in June of 2022. It was just slightly lower at 203 in June of 2023, only 4 units less. But in June of 2024, we have 238 homes that have now accumulated onto the market, and we could expect June into July, based off prior years, to continue to see an increase in inventory as we peak through summer. Now, inventory accumulates in the Appo School District oftentimes up until August before it starts to regress in its inventory. And I wonder why that is. When people looking to relocate or change school districts in Delaware, more than likely they're going to wait for their own kids to be in school before they start seriously looking. Summer is almost off limits, so it's very common for inventory to start to regress once we get to fall. But as it sits, we are higher than we were in prior years by a good margin, about 14.5% more on the supply side, if my math is correct. But we talked about the supply and demand with the amount of homes that are on the market. Let's talk about the demand of Appoquinimink right now. How many people want to buy a home in Appo? Well, for starters, how much are they willing to pay? They're willing to pay $540,000. Those homes closing from then going under contract in prior months. We can look at April of 2024. The homes were listed at $545,000. So people are willing to pretty much pay the sticker price to move into Appo. And a ticker down the right-hand side, second from the right, if you have our sheet here with me, I'd encourage you to go down to June of 2022, because you'll see the days on market number was as low as 10 was the run of the mill, the average amount of time it took for a home to go on sale on the public market to receiving an offer that the seller's like, yeah, I want to accept this. Less than 2 weeks. That's nearly unheard of. That is an on fire inferno seller's market. Great time to sell. But we can see that number has increased as we've gone through into June of 2023. It was at 39 and got as high as 65 in April. Whoa! Why the slowdown? Doesn't matter, because it picked right back up May into June, and now presumably into July. Days on market has gotten back down to 30 days, which is lower than last year, and creeping downwards. So what does that say about buyer demand? It means that homes aren't sitting as long, which means there are probably more people looking to buy than there are sellers selling. And at the same exact token, they're willing to pay close to, if not the full sticker price that the seller is asking, which means the demand is high. So if demand is on the rise and supply is on the rise, what does that mean? It takes me to my first takeaway. My first takeaway for Appo is all the way up. And then over here, the rich get richer with a question mark. And that's my little Monopoly man. I have him standing on like a pentagon. I don't, what is he standing on? Looks like Tennessee. He looks very rich because he's holding a champagne glass and has a monocle, if you couldn't see that. I'm an artist. Listen, new construction runs a lot of the Appoquinimink School District, with nearly 30% of its sales coming from it. I'd argue that this is a market that's nearly untouchable in terms of a price correction, because there's simply too much demand for it. And as more restaurants, more things to do, more residential activity opportunities, both in terms of family fun and restaurants alike, are popping up in the Appo School District, Middletown, and alike, I don't see any reason why the demand slows down. And with supply not seeing any stark peaks or increases, we are seeing a slight increase year over year from 97 to 105. And though the 3-digit number looks good versus a 2-digit number, it's not that big of an increase. It's about 8% maybe. I'm not ringing any alarms, but if there were a number to look at that could suggest that there are more homes being listed than buyers are willing to buy, which could lead to our price points not accumulating in price and maybe even starting to decelerate and drop in price. We almost hit that off the table. For that to happen, we need to see supply go way up. And it is, by definition, accumulating. Before I get into my second take, the EOMINV, fifth column from the right, for my people that have the sheet in front of them, is at 238. And if you scroll down that column, you'll see there's no 238. It's the highest it's ever been. We have more inventory in Appo than we have seen truly since pre-COVID times, which is saying something. So does that mean price points are going to just diminish? Absolutely not. I don't believe so. I believe there's way too many people that want to buy. There's way too many neighborhoods that are being built to furnish that demand. I don't think that anything would happen other than, my second point to take away is on that there could be more listings than ever. And the real thing to keep an eye on is the sign, that rider on the sign. That's what you need to keep your eye on. What I mean specifically is for sale or sold. Because just because a sign is going in the yard or you see 7, 10, 20 pop up in the area and you're like, oh, it's happening. The supply is increasing. What's going to crash? If the sold sign goes in that rider slot within the first month on average, month and a half on average, with an accumulating supply, that just means the price points are probably going to continue to go up. If not, just stabilize, stay where they're at. We would need to see the signs going in the yard and the for sale sticking around for a while. Usually 75 to 90 days on average would need to be the days on market. And reminder, we're at 30 right now on Appo, as low as 10 just back in 2022. So that number would need to get well over like 90 for us to start talking about corrections and crashes. So Appo, you're in good shape. Home prices look awesome, and if you can get in, it's a great place to be. If you'd like more information like this, hit this QR code. It's our Loft Report. I'll put it in your hands. It compares Appoquinimink to all the other districts in Delaware, so you know where you stand, and we'll put it in your hands with updates to the data every 30 days. Have a great one, and hope to talk housing with you again soon.